TV's coverage on CappingTV. You're watching WESG, one of the quarterfinals between Order and Leopard, and we are 3 rounds in because of the delays. We sincerely apologize for that, but Order have won the pistol and the 2 subsequent rounds. We are moving into the first gun round, which will be the perfect time to introduce your starting lineups. On the side of Leopard, we have Pour It Up, Merman, Rashness, Zeron, and Rashid. And on the side of Order, we have Bird, Imagine, Liaz, Hass, and Malta. Malta getting 2 and 0 and Mirrored will square it up in turn. We are in a 3 versus 3 very early on to this first gun round. Now it is starting to turn again. It is going 1 for 1 so far. Trying to jump through the smoke. Hass is left on his own and only has 20 HP to his name and has to take down 2 full health targets. Good luck to him for that. So now Leopard basically have all the power in their hands going into this first gun round. It's moving in towards the CT spawn. I'm not sure if the Leopard people will notice, but it may actually notice him stamping around. Rashid caught completely unaware, and he may assume that Pour It Up is with him or close by. So this is now turned into a doable 1 versus 1 if Hats can prove to be better positioned and be able to take down Pour It Up. Moving in towards the library, Liaz sticking into the pit, which is why they're trying to intrude strong positions, especially given the planted bomb's position. The smoke will go up. Tries to defuse the bomb to try and ban out the sound. Liaz is not biting. Pour It Up does not have a kit either, so even if he buys enough time, it's going to be good enough for him. Hats will go down. The bomb will explode. The time will expire. Order will win the round. A single AK will be carried over for Leopard, the Iranian team, which is actually quite an interesting conundrum. They have had a bit of a rougher part compared to Order, which is not by much. It has either been strong victories to them or strong defeats against them, meaning 16 and then say 2 to 5, while Order has won 3-1 or 3-1 or 3-0, and they had a tough opening game that went into OT, but they ended up passing with flying colors. Liaz will open the 5th round with a frag to his name. It is purely utility and pistols for the Leopard side. I know that the Asian scene loves to use their power pistols and put them to great effect, but given how strong some of the T sides have been, especially in the E-League Major going on, it's been really trying to see a lot of stronger T sides on Inferno. The A side has been completely seized, and Merman and Rashness are just having no part of it, wanting to hang on to their investment, which is not much, but it's something at the very least. And that'll be 5 on the trot for Order. For a little bit of clarity, this is a new lineup on the side of Order. Sorta, kinda, because the core 4 Order in this tournament are Liaz, Hats, and Imagine. And because of the nationality rule for WESG, they cannot use their 4th man of Sicko, who was playing for Parallax. So they've had to bring in a couple of riggers, Burn and Malta, who are definitely not slouches in their own right. So it's still a force to be reckoned with, even with only 3 out of their 5, or 4 technically, members on the side of Order. We have a fully bought out Leopard side now. To see how those CT start to stack up. You can hear a lot of Molotovs being extinguished, a lot of damage going out early on with nades and things. Pour It Up, seeing a lot of activity. It has decided to fall back towards Arch. And Emag rips Poor It Up's head clean off of its shoulders. Zeron will ring an AWP into Burn Are You Okay, who will sit him out for the round. Liaz and Imagine will get frags to their name, but Merman will take Malta out of the equation for round number 6. The bomb will go down, and that will put Leopard on the clock to whether they will even want to attack this T defense. And not if Imagine will take the AWP of Zeron out of the round, and that will leave Rashes in a 1 versus 2. Does he carry the AWP over? That looks like that is what he is planning to do. He's hanging by Arch, perhaps expecting one of the players to run after him. That will be Hats. That's running towards him in CT. Will get a 3-3 Lepore right through his chest, but Rashness will be tagged up quite heavily, but will carry over into the 7th round. And knowing how powerful the AWP can be on Inferno, Leopard may warrant a force up around it. Doesn't look like that's what they're going for, though. Well, they kind of are with a lot of power pistols, but it'll be up to Rashness and his big green gun, or green as in black and red, to put in a lot of the work. And Rashness gets deleted off of the server by Bird and Malta. Hats will take out Merman, and that will be all said and done. Leopard already hightailing it out of there. Burn moving towards CT spawn. Will take a lot of damage, but will prevent Zeron from surviving. And it's actually really curious about. I'm actually really curious about Leopard, because you did not hear a lot outside of maybe Gaming Wolf all the way back from ESL Cologne, being a Middle Eastern team. To my knowledge, I'll be quite frank. My knowledge of the scene is very minimal, but that is the last team I remember being from the Middle East. Them being from India, which is MTS Gaming Wolf at ESL Cologne. And apparently the Middle Eastern scene has started to hit their stride, and it'll be really cool to see. A full buys coming in. Emag gets torched by Pour It Up and Farshid. And a lot of utility trading plays is a 3 versus 4 for order to try to trudge through. Now the numbers are starting to dwindle for working on a pinch with his teammates. Now Order are now on an island. Burn caught switching, but gets away with it. And Liaz still a body in contention, despite being on 11 HP and being lucky that Zeron whiffed a shot, but Merman will clean up his mess. Now it is a 2 versus 1 for Burn, and Burn will not live to fight. Merman will put a cap on the round, and that will be the first to Leopard's name. 2 will carry over the M4, some utility, and the big deciding factor, which will be the big green gun. The AWP. Of course, the D-side economy is definitely not too far scathed just yet, or able to buy in fully. 5 rifles, so they're not doing the T-side AWP, which is apparently a trend in this region, which I've not personally seen, but I'm all about unorthodox strategies. Or Malta gets champed really hard down to 10 HP from the nade barrage down Banana. Banana always a high point of contention. Rash is also getting chunked down. Malta being sent out of the round. Hats will let the AK sing on the Merman. Merman will be deafened by that and silenced. Both teams essentially wanting to take duels with each other and not leave a lot on the table. They're just wanting to try out their aim. But the B-bomb site is now completely abandoned, but obviously we know a lot more than the players of the server do. So it'll be up to the bomb carrier, who is imagined, to suss this out and maybe force them to either move over or cut people off. That's exactly what Burn and Leaz did. Burn did get sacrificed, but Leaz did avenge him. Leaz really wanting to hold the players in position. Rastus will be taken out by Leaz, but Rashid will let the Clarion sing on Leaz. The bomb will go down on the B's site. The bomb planner of Imagine got deleted by Pour It Up, and now Leaz again in a 1 versus... No, it was Haz, excuse me, in a 1 versus 2, and Haz did not survive. There's a second for the order. Again, with 2 surviving. It is still not as much a factor in terms of the economic damage, done on the side of order towards Leopard. The buy is still going to be very scattered, given the CTs are averaging 4.5 to, I think it was $5,500. That may leave them a little short in utility, but it is definitely nothing to be scared of. The most even they will be. The Azan hats are chunked up a tiny bit, going down to 89.90. That will make the M4s a one-shot headshot now. That may prove to be a factor later on. Rastus and Merman were playing a little bit aggressively up in Banana, and that got crushed really quickly. And now the Order troops will be moving up towards the B site, which has been starting to be swallowed with defenders, but they are a little bit taken aback by it. The bomb is down. One is in garden and one is moving towards CT. Burn is looking to pinch the remaining CTs. And it's looking to be quite successful so far. Zeron caught completely unawares. The flash combo from Burn and Leaz with the assist. And this could be a 5 alive scenario for the Order. And the lone man of Rashid on the side of Leopard will want no part of it. And that will bring Order to a win of the first half of Inferno, getting an 8th round to their name. And with the economic status of Leopard so far, it's a little bit of a odd situation. They have called for a pause, the side of Leopard. And I personally would have actually waited until the Leopard squad were actually able to fully buy, because ever since allow me to bring up the scoreboard on my side, the economic situation is definitely not a concern for Order, but it is for Leopard. They have only been able to fully buy in for about 4 rounds now, and even then it's been rather shaky. Leaz being an absolute unit, let's run down your current scores at the moment. Leaz is 16, 1 assist and 4 deaths. Oh, keep an eye on him. He may be able to do a 30 bomb. I would love to see it. Love to see what is pile up for him. Leaz would have definitely called that out. And Leaz gets a 1D from Pour It Up. It's like, enough of that, bud. So the aim for Leopard so far will be to basically give this round up, but survive with as many people as possible, but let Rashid survive, given he has head armor, a flash, and most importantly, the M4A4. And perhaps the M4 could actually scavenge a weapon for Zeron as well to carry over. And that is exactly what happened, given, I think it was Burn that went down to his hand. That will be the end of that. It looks like neither team will cross paths, unless the number 9 mana hats will get a cheeky frag in the closing seconds. Doesn't look so. Doesn't look to be the case. That'll be 9 for Order, and it'll be a shaky buy, but they will be able to do it on the side of Leopard. Probably lacking in utility will be the end of the end order of the day. Not really. A couple of members are, that being Poured Up, Zeron, and Rashid, but Merman and Rashness are fully kitted up, so they may end up being the impact players. We will wait and see the end result. Leah's just going like a speed demon through apartments, but Zeron on top of the quad position, getting a 3K to himself, making Order cease their push so far. And now it is a 2 versus 3 for Leopard to try and trudge through. The bomb will go down at the arch position. Rashness will keep an eye on it like a hawk, and now it is up to Mr. Hats in a 1 versus 3. Get a headshot onto Zeron, so it's not over yet, but his bomb will be smoked off. They'll be keeping an eye on that, trying to prevent Hats from advancing. And Moment will be caught completely unawares with a round implanted into his skull, and that is Hats. A absolute menace when he wants to be, getting a 1 versus 3 clutch to his name to bring Order to double digits, and that is a absolutely soul-crushing round loss for Leopard, given they had bomb control, they had man advantage, they had utility advantage on the men as well. And Hats had to come in and tear it all apart, like the surgeon here has proved himself to be in the past. And that has forced Leopard into an absolute state of disarray with nothing but pistols on their side and only a flash in terms of utility. And merely going for formalities now. And that is bringing Order to 11. The Order is definitely restoring itself. And this may, by any foreshadowing and knowledge of previous results, this may end up being a similar situation to Leopard's running scorelines through WESG, which, may I remind you, they have, when they have been defeated so far in WESG, they have not gotten a winning record to them, or losing record to them, where they have gone into double digits. They have been squashed. A double AWP setup for Leopard, so they are throwing everything at them to try and save a little bit of face. The AWP will sing out very early on, taking Burn out of the equation and leaving Order very short-handed very early on, with only 1 minute 20 left in this round. Perhaps on that, they're wanting to kick the tempo up a notch. Looks like they're decided to do it with the bomb moving in towards the A site. Malta and Hats, excuse me, will break the defense so far, and now it is up to the Leopard side to infiltrate with 2 AWPs, which is a tough deal at any time. But when you've invested so much, it is basically one and done for the side of Leopard, the Iranian underdogs, or undercats in this case. Can you imagine moving towards, looking over the quad position from Graveyard? Will take out Merman. Now the 2 AWPs remain, and it looks like they've deemed it too valuable to lose, and both the AWPs will backpedal and retreat. Zero will leave a party gift by taking Liaz out, and 1 will die to the bomb as well. Has to be the other one that survives, or not. Both the AWPs will be carried over. Order will be wiped out, but Order will get a tally, moving into the final round of the first half. And they do have at least something to fight with, the side of Leopard, which is good to see. You could have asked for far, far worse, but the 2 AWPs will have to do a lot of work. That's opting not to buy utility. Maybe that is a bug on their side. But Bernard Imagine will more than pick up for him, taking out Zeron and Merman. And the bomb will easily go down. The CTs were caught way out of position and out of time. Bernard Imagine will thin the numbers out more, and Rashness at a 1 versus 4. He will have to ace to bring them to 3, and that is not what is going to happen. A dominant half by Order, with 13 on their side and only 2 to the Iranian side of Leopard, going into the change. You are watching the WESG tournaments in China, and we are wanting to see what will happen next, because Leopard are definitely on their last legs. If Order win pistol, it will leave them with so little to play for and so little room to move. Wait and see what happens. 2 and 1. We have a fully armored up CT side, aside from Leaz, who has the kit and 2 flashes, which is 1 saving grace. Full utility for Rashness, well, as full as you can get, and then armor on the rest of the opponents. Emag will squash Merman's head like a grape, and we'll try to get into a skirmish and finish off Pour It Up. Malta will drop the bomb carrier as well. So definitely leaving Leopard with a lot less of a threatening presence than their namesake Cat would actually assume. And that will be a clean round for Order. 14 to their side and then only 2 for Leopard. Everything has gone catastrophically wrong for the side of Leopard. And 3 MP9s, 1 UMP, and the P90 on Burn. The human lawnmower for Burn. Are you okay? I have missed it immensely. Clearly Order are feeling exceedingly confident. Merman will make them eat a piece of humble pie really quick by taking out Imagine. So maybe they are wanting to think twice. Malta will restore the balance though. And Pour It Up will be tagged up heavily, but will be taken out of the round. And both the MP9s were carried over. Zeron with a dirty 1D got a hats. And perhaps this overzealous and overly confident buy from Order will perhaps come back to bite them very hard. Much like an actual Leopard. And Burn is only on 11 HP, so it will leave a lot to be desired for Order to get nothing less than only having 1 member of the opposition standing. I was going to maybe hint at a meat shield scenario, but both members are so far apart. Leaz is the only line of defense on the B side. Looks like the members of Leopard are grouping up and wanting to go there. Burn, from the looks of things, will just aim to perhaps catch the members of Leopard on the way out. It'll be called over by Leaz. Leaz will get 2 to his name, then make that 3. And now he is like a turret. And now for Sheed in a 1 versus 2. And going ever so closer to being pinched by the clock and by the manpower. And Leaz with a huge 4K to his name will bring Order to match points. And that was just a weird comedy of errors. Perhaps a piece of humble pie for Order for not investing fully, but only buying submachine guns and even the P90, which for all intents and purposes is considered by some to be a sign of disrespect. And Burn just letting it rip, getting 2 to his name. Emag will get 1. Rashness from the cutout will take out Burn. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, Order will be totally restored and Order will fall on Inferno. And they will take the map 16 points to 2. A dominant performance by Order onto Leopard. And we will go very shortly to map number 2, which, if I recall, is actually Cache. So, we will wait for the map to change and wait for everybody to get the server, get warmed up, and we will be moving on to map number 2 of this best of 3 series for WESG between Order and Leopard. We will return very shortly. Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned into CappingTV and their coverage of WESG. We are going into our second map of this best of 3 series between Order and Leopard. And we just saw Order absolutely decimate the side of Leopard on Inferno with a round score of 16-2. So we're hoping that Leopard can show a little bit more grit and maybe take it to Order, or it could be a very, very short day at the office for them and a very, very sad goodbye. To bring you all up to speed around the other matches in WESG, New4 and SN Absolute are locking horns with New4 up 11 rounds to 10. Rekka up on Chosen 5 at the moment, 14 rounds to 12. This NSPR, the Thai team, have absolutely demolished EMC from Hong Kong, 16 rounds to 3. And the last of those 4 is the match that we are covering. We are covering Order versus Leopard. For those just joining us, I will run you down your starting lineup. All right, we have all 10 in the server, which makes my life very much easier. We have, on the side of Order, we have Burn, Malta, Imagine, Hats, and Liaz. And on the side of Leopard, we have Fashid, Pour It Up, Rashness, Merman, and Zeron. And to bring you all up to speed for Order, this is a part of the former King's Core, that being Imagine, Hats, and Liaz, with Burn from Greyhound Gaming and Malta from Chief CSC, brought in because of the nationality rule for WESG. They all have to be from one country, and although Sicko was brought to Order because of that core, he's unable to participate in this team because he's from New Zealand. He's a Kiwi. He's very much a Kiwi. But it'll be really curious to see how they perform in the future and whether they will find a 5th man. Order have not officially found a 5th man yet. And all the best to them in their future endeavors. The future looks very bright for them. And as for Leopard, it's going to be very, very curious as to whether or not we can actually get a steady baseline to whether they can perform or not. Because it's either been blowouts or it's been basically blowouts either way. Either they've dominated or they've been dominated on. And that trend continued last map, being 16-2 in favor of Order on Inferno. We're going on to this second map. And it looks like all the formalities are out of the way. The game is on and we are set to go to war. This is the second map of this best of 3 series for WESG between Order from Australia and Leopard, the team from Iran. Let's run down your buys. We have 3 members of Order armored up and 2 members carrying utility, which is Hats and Imagine. Looks like they're looking to go over the boost position, and we have all 5 members of Leopard that are armored up. So they're looking to stunt whatever push they can think of. They're looking to stun it dead. The smoke will go out towards Z and cut off one of the members, that being Merman. He's probably going to hear this and call this out to his team. Zeron will open proceedings and take Liaz to Riding the Pine. Emag and Malta will get frags to their name and thin out the numbers, but Merman is trying to reply by getting a headshot onto Malta. Rashness making Burn pay by jumping around on the truck position. Now it is down to a 1 versus 1. Merman getting close to getting to the tag. Is Rashness going to stick it? Rashness has the stronger position and will rip Hatter's head clean off of its shoulders. Oof, that was buttery smooth. And that will be the bomb defused and the opening pistol round going to Leopard at the hands of Rashness. Thank you very much. And if you do observe the chat, the Liaz did give his props, saying that was a very nice shot. And it was very nice indeed. Pop and it's gone. Will Order force up and want to grind their way back into the round? It looks like they're aiming to do it with 3 UMPs and a fully utility-laden Imagine on this side of Order. We have 2 subs and 3 rifles, 2 Clarions and an M4 on the side of Leopard. And they're going fast and furious. Zero will open, but be taken out in turn. EMAG and Malta have broken open the site. The bomb is stuck on the cross, but not for much longer. The bomb is now on the site. And now it is up to the members of Leopard to make a decision whether to retake or backpedal and get out, because they have far too much value to hold on to. And this is one of the hardest sites for the CTs to retake in the entire map pool. I feel it looks like if they were going to do it, they would have already done it. The timer is too far gone. EMAG will quickly dispatch of rashness, and that is basically force the hand of Leopard. There's a force going towards the side of Order, but now it is up to Leopard to make them pay by taking as many bodies out as they can. And Up is doing a good job of it by dispatching of Malta very quickly before being traded out. And yes, it's a round win for Order, but it may affect their ability to build their economy in the future. We will wait and see what happens. An armor pistol for Leopard, perhaps wanting to try their luck with good aim again, which we know Leopard to have based on their previous rounds and some of their pistol play in the previous map, because they were forced to buy less than optimally quite a bit by the side of Order on Inferno. Ooh. Rashid's probably caught. Yes, he's caught the bomb. That's very huge. Diaz will take out his legs for the truck, but that will be a huge piece of intel for Leopard very early on. Going all the way past the truck position, moving towards the CT side of the map. Hold up. Watching from forklift, making Malta pay for not checking his corners, but will he be able to even get his hands on the rifle? The A site will be completely run over by Order members. And Order has gotten a UMP to his name, and that could be upgraded to an AK if he can survive. He's tagged up heavily, but Leopard really making Order second guess and maybe think a little bit more heavy to what they will do in terms of their next couple of rounds. And Merman holding everyone in place. He does tag Liaz down, but is sent to the grave by Liaz. Looks like a tech issue could be on the cards. Yes, a tech issue is on the cards. The TeamSpeak on site is being a little bit poor and not cooperating, so that will be the end of that. And no members of Leopard will survive, despite that very promising looking couple of promising looking frags on there to their name. But a technical pause will, as you can see on the screen, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it personally. There is a technical timer. That's actually kind of neat. I like that. But we are waiting for this issue to be resolved. The comms are not working for the side of Leopard at the moment. So, more than likely, Leopard will have to take a round to be better prepared for the round that will follow. So, more than likely, round 6 will be the next next true test, the next gun round for the side of Leopard. So, Order's aim, at least according to their buy, will be to let Malta run out and be the recon man with the Mac 10 and get money to his name to sort of strengthen the economy, which did get rattled a bit by losing a lot of the manpower on the 2 subsequent rounds after Leopard won the pistol. So it'll be up to him to do a lot of work. This issue is taking a lot longer to resolve than desired. It could be a server issue for the comms for both sides. It's completely unclear, but there is an issue on site. They are looking into it. And it looks like technology has decided to cooperate. The pause will be removed momentarily. There it goes, and we are in to round number 4 for this second map of this best of 3. And with all intents and purposes, this will be a mere formality. Leopard not even investing into this round, so if Order so chooses, they will probably send Malta up front. It looks like that's exactly what he's doing. He's heading the charge and using that MAC-10 to good effect. Does get chunked up a little bit, but does have the AKs of his fellow Order brethren to back him up. So to bring you all up to speed again, this is a core 3 and minus the fourth man of Sicko, who is a New Zealander and cannot be part of this team because of the nationality rule. So they've brought in Burn from Greyhound and Malta from Chiefs, and they have been doing a lot to hold their own to lend a helping hand, and it has been quite lovely to watch. But now, there is a gun round in our midst, and AWP will be on the board, and that is in the hands of Rashid, and it will be very curious, at least to me, to see where he plays next. Malta carrying over the MAC-10, perhaps thinking that the Leopard side will not invest in head armor, which has been the case for most of them. The two M4s do have head armor, but that is at the cost of utility, which could end up being a bit of an issue if the T's do end up infiltrating a site they cannot retake. Merman does take one out before being torched to death by Hats. Russia's overwatching from the vent and does jump like Batman to get the better of Imagine, but does take a lot of damage in the process, and Hats will clean him up. The 2 versus 3, the bomb is down on the B site. It's tough enough at the best of times, but with no utility, it is up to Fashid to even get a frag to see if they even aim to get the site. Did tag Hats down to 47, but that was through the grate. Perhaps not as good as they were hoping. And Pour It Up doesn't get taken out through the smoke by Malta, so that will leave the Leopard side very short-handed, and now they have no hands. The entire CT side has been eliminated. 2 will survive, and that will bring Order to 4 rounds out of the last 5. And leave Leopard once again to sort of reel the recoil, the economic recoil of being completely depleted. But love tapping there. Hat's taking some grenade damage down to 88. Ending up being a factor with these power pistols in play. Russia's getting a frag on the burn with the USP. They've definitely been a little bit of a curious surprise package in terms of their pistol plays so far. Whether that will win them games is another thing to consider entirely. Liaz will send Zero onto the bench, and EMAG will put a cap on the round and send Order to 5. 2 ops in play for Leopard right now. Looks like they are fully kitted up in terms of utility as well. Well, aside from Zero, but he does have the big green gun on his back. So now it is the first true test for Leopard. Now, can they get a round win on the board and let Order at least get a little bit of humble pie? They are aiming to completely swarm the orb of Zeron. Does take up Malta, but Merman and Zeron are taken out of the round by the members of Order as they completely steamroll the B's sights. We are at an even keel in terms of manpower and firepower. Well, not anymore. Burn will shorten legs and shorten the grip of Leopard even further, and just like that, as quickly as it became even, it became to the side of Order. Leopard really not really showing their fangs or claws or any of those appendages for that matter. Another round that we're just basically going to have to see if they will maybe take bodies and make the Order team reinvest. With the 1 of the 2 with armor, that being Rashness, was sent to the grave. So Merman does get a headshot on the Malta. That is a slight saving grace and a weapon from Pour It Up. That is actually quite a huge investment, and a body taken with him as well. So given that Pour It Up has eyes on the bomb, that could end up being his detriment now, because everybody's going to be swarming, and that's exactly what happened. EMAG will prevent Pour It Up from carrying the new weapon over to the Leopard side, and that will force Leopard to reconsider how they invest, because they do not have that luxury. Another full gun round. This is to prevent Order from getting to an 8th round and winning out the half outright. It should be the second time they've won a half within the first 10 rounds. And already move it out to checkers. Did get legged for his trouble though. They're definitely aware that he's there. Burn will take a body with him though. That being Merman. They're stacked out the A site. But she is the only line of defense, and him and Pour It Up will definitely stunt that entire push, and now it is up to Imagine to do what he can, and he cannot. And that is a lot more respectable from Leopard, and maybe a beacon of hope or a little bit of false hope given out by Order. They are able to reinvest with over 11,000 on Hats, 7,000 on Burn after the buy, 7,100 on Liaz. Again, utility slightly lacking on the side of Leopard, but the smoke and flash will be a much more pivotal investment. But not if Burn and Liaz can basically crunch the defense like that and force Leopard to spread themselves thin. They're already heavily tagged up. B-side is being infiltrated. And just like that, it's left the Leopard crew into a little bit of a predicament. 2 AWPs! A 3 versus 2, a round that they so desperately want to win to prevent Order from running away in terms of economy, but a retake of the B site with 2 AWPs is tough enough for any team. Now only 1 AWP, and now no AWPs, no manpower, and no way to defend. That is the round 1.5 won by Order. And it has forced Leopard to basically take another round to themselves. Maybe a couple of pistol fires to try to thin the numbers, but at this point, you would have to really question that type of investment. Moving very quickly through A and main, just wanting to carry all the men over at least for the side of Leopard to maybe lessen the burden of their economy. Now, it's not the aim of them to win, it's the aim to survive. Malta almost caught unawares, but that was him just trying to survive, and that's exactly what he will do. Members of Order are heavily tagged, but that will not mean anything if you can't close out the frags to your name, and that will be 9 for Order. And now Order probably in a state of absolute dominance once again compared to the previous map. It's almost a mirror. And now Leopard in a state of desperation. We have 2 umps, 3 M4s, utility already very, very slim with only 5 flashes and a single smoke between them. They're going to rely on raw aim. Zero will make a good case, taking out Burn and Hats being dinked down as well to 13. Perhaps Leopard getting their second wind. They can't afford to get too cocky though. But Malta making Pour It Up and Rashness pay for having a very unorthodox buddy system. They were left right out in the open, but with no utility, I guess there's not much to be done. Merman will drop the bomb carrier on the A site, so that is a saving grace. Hat still has the big green gun, and Malta being a formidable force to be reckoned with. A 4K for him on that round, and that will bring order to double digits. And Leopard in a full state of disarray. Not really all that much you can say, I'm afraid, after all of these. It's either they come close and a single mistake, more likely due to lack of experience at these types of events. Zeron maybe whiffing right by Malta's face. Close to a 1 dig, but close on the counts and short shoes and hand grenades. Rashid will take out 1. That is less than enough. Malta almost being made a fool of by Rashness. But the bomb doesn't even go down. I don't think it would even need to. 16,000 on the body of hats. 4 out of the 5 members of Order over $10,000. This economy will be impossible to penetrate. Just throwing an orb over the fence, perhaps looking to prevent the Leopard side from carrying it over. If they do find it. Why would they want to carry one over? They bought 2 themselves. She did open proceedings nicely, but that was how the last round started too. Hats will easily dispatch and make the middle defense crumble before his might by taking out 2 to his name. Burn will dispose of Pour It Up at quad, and even with the bomb being down at T spawn, at this point it'd be more just making Leopard sweat and giving them a piece of humble pie and letting them know you need a lot more experience to be able to contest without play. They're definitely making it respectable. 2 versus 2 now. This is entirely doable, but with hats. He is low, yes, but he does have the big green gun, and none of the members of Leopard have any utility to dispatch of him in terms of damage, so that fact that he's tagged is not going to matter as much. And Zeron will be benched by hats. Now Mermaid in a 1 versus 2. We'll take out the high HP player of Imagine. That's up to hats. He does have an eye on the bomb. With the shot though, that could prove costly. Hats bled enough time though, it would appear. Yes, he has a win for him. Yes, but the timer will run out. That will be 12 for Order. An orb carried over, but not much else. And for the last round of the first half, Leopard will be left limping in terms of a defense. 2 Clarions, 2 M4s, very little utility aside from Rashness and Merman. And perhaps Order just making this as easy for themselves as possible, not wanting to make a mistake, and just overwhelming them with just sheer numbers, and just blunt forcing the sides like this and exploiting the poor positioning on the side of Leopard. As I say that, Burn has been erased. Imagine has been found up behind the smoke. Can he be disposed of? That's going to easily be disposed of by Rashness and his orb. Malta taking out 1 and making Zeron stand at notice. He is down but still surviving. A 2 versus 4 for Order. And perhaps not wanting to adopt a cautious approach has ended up costing them. Rashness will drop the bomb carrier, former bomb carrier of Liaz, but Emag will avenge him. A 3 versus 1. They will have a rough idea of where he is, and Zeron will put a cap on the first half by chalking another round up for Leopard. Now, just like before, it is very vital for Leopard to win the pistol and all the following rounds to at least mount a respectable scoreline And we will actually wait and see whether they can do that, because this is a very rare opportunity for these types of teams from these regions to showcase what their region is made of. Now we move into the second half. It'll be curious to see how Order will approach this. It will look like 4 sets of armor and a kit on hats. And 2 flashes for him as well, and a fully armored up T side of Leopard. EMAG being the first point of call will split Mirren's skull, but Fashid and Zeron and Pour It Up will get a frag each to their name, and perhaps make Order stand at attention. Zero will take out Malta, Liaz will send Pour It Up to the grave, and Fashid will put an end to that. And that is a pistol round 1. That is the second pistol round 1 by Leopard now, and that will bring them to 4. Now, we wait and see what Order will do. It looks like they're doing the old armor pistol force by. And 3 members, excuse me, having head armor, which will not matter for the AKs that have been brought up. But the Galil and MAC-10 may prove to be less effective. We have 3 Deagles and 2 CZs. Australia loves their Deagles. It is very, very apparent in all scenes in Australian CS, whether it's male, female, mixed, pug, whatever it may be, they love their power pistols and they love their Deagles and their highlight. That's a catch. Order off guard. Well, the MAC-10 man of rashness will be sent out by Imagine. So that will leave Leopard short-handed for the time being. The bomb being down in T warehouse. Liaz again. Liaz getting the 1 dig on the Zeron. Perhaps his power pistol buy will end up working in favor of Order. And Leopard will be left red-faced and very short in terms of economy. That is a kill each for Hats, Liaz, and Imagine so far this round. Rashness is taken out. And now, can Leopard actually try to tilt the likelihood back into their favor? Both members tagged up, and Fashid sent to the bench, and that is that, just like that. The entire attack of Leopard crumbled by the might of Order and their armor pistol buy. There's 13 for them. And the scavenged weaponry will pay dividends too. Even, especially the MAC-10. Looks like they have a scout in the field and on the person of Merman. Burn going really far forward in mid. Pour It Up already caught out by Imagine. Serum making Burn pay for moving all the way around to the T-spawn early on. But the recon he got may prove to be more than enough. It should be noted he did have an I believe he had an M4 in his person. So that may prove to be costly for them. Never mind, that was Imagine with the M4, and the man of Burn was taken out only with a pistol in his person. So we'll take out Imagine. Now it is a 3 versus 2. The 2 members of Leopard are barely living, especially Xeon now, down to 21. Malta will quickly dispose of him. And Fashid, 1 versus 3. Just letting him out with false hope, and then Malta will spray him down and easily take care of him and pick up the M4 that was dropped. So now 14 for Order. A economically trying time for Leopard. And it looks like they are forced to get to it. They don't exactly have a choice. And round 19 is underway. Potential match point on the horizon for Order if they do not step a foot wrong. There is no AWP in play. They do have a strong bank of utility. But Zero will rip Emag's head clean off using the scout. So perhaps making the city side of order think twice before just blindly going down A main without properly using your utility. Burn found out. Perhaps wanting to retake a duel with Merman, and Merman will make him pay. But Liaz, well aware, but did get smoked off. Hats will avenge him. And now it is a 3 versus 2. Zeron is proving to be quite a pain with this scout. So, although he is very, very low, so a stiff breeze could knock him over. Did leg hats, but that was not going to be enough, and that is match point for Order to advance. A 15-4 scoreline at the moment. Leopard left with basically nothing but rifles, pistols, and a little bit of scout utility, and a MAC-10 on the side of the person of Mervyn. Maybe not expecting that many 1-digs out of rashness. Porter will sit Malta out for the round. Burn getting very aggressive. Zero will make him pay. 2 members heavily attacked. Fashid and Pour It Up will combine for 6 HP. So you can breathe on them and they drop. But still, his body's on the field. Well, not anymore. Emag will throw a HE and catch a wild Pour It Up. Fashid being caught unawares. Now it is Rashless in a 1 versus 4 to keep his team in WESG. And the bomb has been found by them. It's only a matter of time, really. If Order can effectively trade, it is going to be done and dusted. Rashness will send Hats to the bench, and he will be torched to death and sent to the grave by Imagine. And Order restored, and Order moves on. A quick 2-0 best of 3 series, a 16-2 on Inferno, and a 16-4 on Cache. And that will conclude this best of 3 for WESG, powered by CappingTV. I have been Cyberwaste, and that has been a quite a dominant set, actually.